Hello, and welcome to Celluloid, where we take a long, deep look into the twisted minds of the movies left behind in the dusty discount bins of the world. Today, we look at 1997's Addicted to Love, starring Matthew Broderick and Meg Ryan as a pair of miscast and mismatched jilted ex-lovers out for revenge who, yada yada yada, they fall in love at the end. So, get out your telescopes, put on your best stalking gear, and go to your dark place. It's time for Crushed Celluloid.
No, it's 4:23. I really don't need to do that.
Yeah, you're going to be all jacked up.
Woo! Jacked up for Addicted to Love.
Said nobody ever.
So today we're talking about 1997's Addicted to Love, and it begs the question between this and City of Angels, why is Meg Ryan America's sweetheart?
I think the answer to that question is Tom Hanks.
I was gonna say, is it completely dependent on Sleepless in Seattle and You've Got Mail?
Well, I think that and When Harry Met Sally. I think those are her only really big films
yeah.
I can think of. But the entire time in this movie, I like Matthew Broderick, not in this movie, but I usually like him. But I just kept thinking, Tom Hanks would have made such a better, counterpart for her in this movie.
I disagree. I'm gonna go more with John Cusack, and it also begs the question, maybe Tom Hanks and John Cusack really are the only two males that can kind of pull off this rom-com sappy thing, because I generally like rom-coms, I thought, but this movie really made me question how much I do.
I think I just really like John Cusack's rom-coms.
I think so, yeah. There's something, I don't know, this movie had two things going for it. One, the whole rom-com thing, which I think I just enjoy, when people seem to unironically be into the ideal of love. I think there's something sentimental and kind of almost childishly innocent about that, which is sweet.
Yeah, it's appealing.
And then the other thing, which is much deeper and goes to, I love films about I hesitate to say voyeurism because that implies something sexual, but like a Rear Window or an 8mm, the films that are about watching something on screen, Videodrome,
Sharky's Machine.
Sharky's Machine, yeah, about the reality of watching versus, the perceived versus the perceiver, and keeping that window between them that kind of reflects back on an audience.
Which was played pretty well here, I have to admit.
I thought it could have been done so much more.
Well, see, that's the thing. It kind of tries to play itself as a dark or black comedy in a way, but then it just falls into that basic standard rom-com territory by the end, so it really has two different tones that don't match up well.
I would say most of its attempt at black comedy was by having what I call sexual out-innuendos, because there's nothing innuendo about them. It's just saying come and rape your skull and things like that.
Did you coin that term? Because I like it.
I think I may just have. I'm not sure if anyone has ever come up with out-innuendo, but here and now, copywriting that if it hasn't been done before. But I wanted to like this movie, but there's not much to like about it in the end. It's really an unlikable movie.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that there were some moments I enjoyed, and especially a few moments that really made me laugh, which didn't come till in the second half of the film, and I was like, finally, I laughed at something in this.
Yeah.
But I think it is just, it kind of starts off going for this very dark tone, and it is very creepy at times, and then it kind of gets a little bit, it kind of walks the boundary between that and a romantic comedy, and then goes straight romantic comedy at the end, to where even the very final scene is just so, fairy tale-ish, the way they end it, and it's silly compared to the rest of the movie.
The entire ending scene feels like it was tacked on. It's not even part of the same universe the rest of this movie has existed in, with the whole Lassie thing, and you're like, what? I felt like it was a callback to something that I had missed somehow. Was Lassie?
No, that's just how they wrapped it up.
That it was the strangest fucking thing.
But that's the thing, that felt like a Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan kind of movie, rom-com.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
It's weird. I feel like Tom Hanks would have done better for Meg Ryan in this movie, and I feel like someone else would have done better for Matthew Broderick, like maybe like a Drew Barrymore or something like that. Someone that's a bit more kind of can pull off dark and quirky more so than just cute and quirky.
Yeah, because Matthew Broderick, he fits the creepy role that fits the first half of the movie where it's all weird and they kind of acknowledge how strange what he's doing is. Then that's like it becomes unanalyzed by the end. It's just like and this is a movie of two people doing horrible things to other people
with little to no consequence, really.
No, or regret, or any acknowledgement that what they're doing is horrible.
It all kind of works out okay in the end.
Yeah, I mean, except for the people whose lives they're ruined, but for them, they're pretty all right. But the French guy, his life's kind of ruined by the end.
Yeah.
I know he gets his woman back and everything, but...
He still lost his restaurant and all of his money.
Yeah, he's still going to be in crippling debt because she sent flowers to her Nana.
I love Nana. Nana was my favorite character.
That was such a what the fuck moment. Like, where... Anyway, I guess we should just go through this movie.
Yeah, a little bit.
of
just a tiny bit for the background. For one, when I was looking up like the box office mojo and like stuff on IMDb about this, it made me realize like this wasn't a huge hit or anything, but it did fairly well. It was like the 60th or so top grossing movie of the year. But it made me realize 1997 was a pretty great fucking year for movies. Like just looking at all the other movies that came out that year, it was an awesome year for movies.
I'm trying to think of anything else 1997.
Well, I mean, like, the biggest grosser that year was Titanic. But there are a number of other, like, very good movies. Like, that was the year Boogie Nights came out. To a much lesser extent, Jackie Brown came out that year. But there was a lot of good releases through 1997. This film was written by a guy named Robert Gordon, who has 4 writing credits on his IMDb page, and that's it. And it's such a weird mix of shit, because he did this first... Then he did Galaxy Quest in 99. Then he did Men in Black 2 in 2002. And then he did Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events in 2004. That's it.
Yeah, I saw that. That's strange. I really like Lemony Snicket, and it's weird that that's kind of what seems like it killed his career. Like, I would say...
I thought that movie did pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't read the books, and I think a lot of the guff that movie got came from that, and also just Jim Carrey being totally played out by that time, but I thought the movie set its tone very well and just kept solid all the way through, and it was fun. It was a fun movie.
Well, yeah, that and Galaxy Quest. I fucking love Galaxy Quest, and those are 2 very good movies that he did, but he also did this, and he did Men in Black 2, so he's like half and half on his career.
Yeah, and then he just quit.
Yeah. But it is the directorial debut of Griffin Dunne, who's more known as an actor. He was the lead in Scorsese's After Hours. He was Jack in American Werewolf in London. But this is his first feature film he directed. Then he did Practical Magic. What's his next one? Which is a bit weird, but kind of in the same vein, I guess.
Yeah, as far as I can remember, I'm pretty sure I saw that with my mom in theaters, if I remember right.
It's totally a mom movie.
Either that or Hope Floats, one of those romantic witch movies.
Was Hope Floats a witch movie?
Wait, what's that? Which is the one where they float in the kitchen? That's Practical Magic.
That's Practical Magic, yeah.
So Hope Floats is not a literal.
Yeah, it's not about levitating.
Okay. Well,
I don't think. I don't really know.
I don't think so, but I don't remember. Those all kind of get jumbled.
Yeah, Practical Magic, Hope Floats, and like Home Fries. Those all get jumbled together for me.
Oh, Home Fries.
But yeah, that's all I got. We can jump into the movie now.
All right. So we open our movie with astronomy lingo.
Yeah, it's Ferris Bueller, astronomer.
Which is kind of funny. I mean, it's an alright scene. Matthew Broderick is supposed to be like this amazing astronomer or something, which I don't know why they had to make him like this prophet of astronomy, where he's like, I'm gonna predict something that no one else has been able to predict, but from our little telescope place. God, what do you fucking call him? It's an observatory.
Observatory, yeah.
Observatory, yes. From their little
That's
observatory. Yep. So he makes this prediction from their little observatory in Nowheresville, and then, which, I mean, whatever, that's fine.
Not even, though. The thing that pisses me off about that is that he's actually calling out that I guess this star is about to go supernova, and they're like, oh, it's not going to happen for hundreds of years. And he's like, no, it's going to happen on Thursday. That seems like kind of a big fucking deal that you maybe would have told people about before now.
Well, I'm guessing he just figured it out, maybe? I don't know. I didn't really get it.
Well, he said it kind of like it was common knowledge, like, oh yeah, it's about to go supernova. You didn't know that? Stupid.
Yeah, I don't know. But it sets his character up as this great astronomer, which doesn't play in, so it's completely unnecessary. I guess he's just like, oh, he's good at his job. And then he grossly misabuses his power to use his telescope to look down on his wife exactly at noon, which apparently is their thing.
Which, how is he not fired doing that?
That's, I mean, yeah, you don't do that to government equipment. Like, that stuff's sensitive. You don't just swing it around like that.
Yeah, he was swinging around all willy-nilly.
And yeah, that's their thing, and that's essentially what we have to build their relationship off of. That's about it, because the next scene we see them in is them discussing her moving to New York for a job opportunity as a teacher.
Yeah, for like 2 months. She's representing something. I don't know.
Which doesn't, because she's just a teacher. If anyone had to go to New York, it should be him.
Yeah, like, for his job that, it's kind of a big deal.
Yeah, that he's calling these big astronomical events way before anyone else called them out. Anyway.
But basically all we learn about their relationship is that they've known each other since they were kids, and they've been together forever, and she seems bored with the whole thing.
Yeah, that's essentially it. It gets a slight chuckle, but she says, if you don't want me to go, just say stay. And he says stay. Quick cut to her on a plane.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed that. I was like, oh, she told him to fuck off.
Yeah, so essentially all we have to go off of their relationship to begin with is that she's kind of bored with their relationship, and he
also,
wants to stay in the small town. Oh, yeah, he's kind of a dick
because
to her.
She gets this opportunity to go to New York, which she's never been out of their small town, and do something for her job that she was picked for. She was chosen for because she's good at her job, and instead of supporting her, he's just like, no, I want you to stay and not go do anything else ever.
Yeah, so not a great start to us rooting for either of them, really.
And he also drives on a runway next to the plane, which is very unsafe.
Oh, pre 9/11, we get away with weird shit like that. Anyway, so he goes back to his house, which introduces this other odd element of the girl's father sneaking into people's places to break up with them for her.
The dad was my other favorite character. Like, this I thought was just kind of weird, but when he comes back later on, I could not stop laughing. That was the one big laugh this movie got out of me.
Yeah, that was a good one. And that's also, I didn't realize that was her dad till then. I was like, is he a nosy mailman? Like, what is going on here?
Oh, no. Well, they don't come out directly and say, oh, it's her dad. I don't think, but he knows who he is, and he immediately asked about Linda, which is his girlfriend, because of that, and he's like, oh, is she okay? And then he gives her the Dear John leather.
See, I thought he said, I had this letter from you from Linda. Oh, no, wait, you're right. He is like, is Linda okay? But first I was like, is that a doctor? Like, is that a family physician? Like, that's...
It's just a mailman. He's just in everybody's business.
Like, that's where I went to after he starts reading this letter. Like, what the fuck is going on with this guy?
I intercepted this in the mail, and I figured you'd rather hear it from me.
Sit down. Who had a friendly mailman? I don't know. I was going to say Happy Days. I don't think they had a mailman.
No? Yeah, I can't. That seems like such a sitcom trope, but I can't really think of any.
Maybe it's just Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Yeah, that's the only one I'm coming up with.
Yeah. Anyway, so immediately, we're like 10 minutes into this movie, Matthew Broderick runs to New York to find her based on almost no information.
Yeah, which I hate this opening shot of New York, because it really, the way they cut it and have it's like, oh, New York is so big and crazy compared to the small country town.
He'll be so confused. Like, it really... ridiculous. And someone runs into him immediately and looks pissed off because New Yorkers are pissed off people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And oh yeah, he finds out where she is from fucking Sinead O'Rebellion with her with, like, for no reason, where it's just this like punk girl with a shaved head and he goes into some hotel and this punk girl tells him exactly where she lives now. Why does she know? Who is she?
Well, I think Matthew Broderick just knows her really well and knows that she would have made friends with, Sinead O'Rebellion. So he was just like, oh, yeah, you know Linda, right? Where's she at? And she's like, oh, she's down there. Bye.
Yeah, bye. Oh, it's the craziest thing. Then he goes and knocks on this random door, and I love that at first they have this huge peephole that you can see completely inside the apartment with, like, on the outside, on the other side.
Yeah, that seems retroactive.
House. That was really strange. And this guy starts marching up, and for the first, 5 minutes I'm looking at, or the first time he's introduced, that whole scene I'm looking at, I was like, is that Bill Pullman? Is Bill Pullman in this as a weird French guy? That's gonna be awesome.
Oh, missed opportunity.
No, was not Bill Pullman. But
God damn it, now I'm just gonna wish it was him the entire time.
I know, it would have been so good. And so Matthew Broderick gets run off because he's a wimp, I guess is what that's implied.
Well, if you have a French guy yelling, really harsh things at you, it's scary. And honestly, I thought he was at the wrong door. I thought someone gave him false information. I didn't get that, oh, that's who she's with now.
Yeah, no, she's with a very angry foreign man.
Yeah, which I don't even know I don't even remember his character's name. He's just going to be Frenchy from now on.
That's fine. It's Anton. But
Anton, okay. Well, he's Frenchy to me.
Why not? And then Broderick sneaks into this abandoned place across the street, and there's this whole weird slapstick scene.
He just stumbles his way through the scene, and it's so fucking bad. It's just like, Matthew Broderick is stumbling around. Hilarious.
I'm a scientist. I can't walk right. It's so... this movie is not even 15 minutes in, and it has had so many different tones already. Like, well, yeah, because
directly after this is when he goes into super creeper mode.
Yeah, when he very quickly builds a camera obscura, and then starts keeping data on his wife, and the guy...
Well, not his wife, his girlfriend.
Oh, I figured they were married or something. Yeah, his girlfriend, about how often they kiss or touch or hug and all this different data, so he can call what's gonna happen, like they're stars or something.
Which means he has been doing this for at least a week or two in order to get that much data. It's fucking weird. It's
really weird. And another strange thing about all this data collection he does is it just totally drops out in the second half of the movie. It just kind of goes away completely.
Well, I think the whole thing with him in the beginning, when he sets up that he calls the star's going to go supernova, I think that's just a setup that he's good with data and he can predict things, but he can't predict love.
Who would have known? People are not like stars. I mean, but it's an interesting angle, and it really plays up the creepiness that he's having at first when he's just... What is it? I can't remember what scene it is, but he's just like, yeah, I feel sorry for you, you poor bastard. And it was just kind of a commentary on his scene at that point in time, because he is the poor bastard, squatting in this place across the street, spying on his girlfriend. Was that supposed to be irony? Yeah, I think this movie attempted irony.
Well, I mean, good for it. Good. Gold star.
Reaching, get it? Because it's a callback to the astronomy.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but no, he does full on Burt Reynolds and Sharky's Machine in this movie.
Oh yeah,
just talking to Linda, because he basically has the camera obscura and it projects an image that he paints the wall white so we can see inside of their apartment on his wall, and he just talks to her about goats and shit.
Yeah, and it's creepy and it's cool, and it's kind of, like I said, they kind of ironically point out that he's doing this, and so it's almost making a commentary on how weird it is he's doing this.
And not only that, but the fact that he's been doing it for so long, he has to have seen them fucking multiple times by now.
Apparently not.
That makes it even grosser.
Well, after we learn from Meg Ryan what he didn't realize, which is that they're lovers. for some reason.
Well, maybe he just didn't realize how good he was or how much he enjoyed it.
I guess so. Yeah, the next scene is Meg Ryan coming in after she breaks into Anton's apartment, and then
before that happens though, we get the scene. I think it's right before that or around right before that, where he sees the French guy get up in the middle of the night and he like eats some icing out of the fridge, and then he just pours icing all over his junk and like goes back, and he's like, I can't get data on that or something like that.
Yeah, he's like, I don't even have a column for that or something.
Yeah.
Some science joke. But yeah, that's about the kind of humor this movie has for the rest of the time, so strap in. And then we get Meg Ryan, who's a motorcycle chick.
I guess she's playing against type.
I guess.
Like, instead of being like a cute and quirky girl, she's kind of like a dirty, badass, quirky girl.
But she doesn't... I
don't know. All I know is they put like thick black eyeliner on her, and that was supposed to make her look like grungy or dirtier compared to normal Meg Ryan.
Yeah, which just this whole premise is just fucking horrible. Meg Ryan bugs the people's apartments. We find out she kind of breaks into Matthew Broderick's squatter place.
Which the first thing he says when she takes off her helmet, because she basically like breaks in and jumps down and everything. He's been seeing her on the motorcycle, and I guess because she's a woman that rides a motorcycle and can handle herself, he's just like, what the hell are you?
Yeah, like she takes off her helmet and he's like, what a lady.
What?
Oh my, this is topsy-turvy.
They really should have had like a stretch close-up on his face. Like, what?
That's, when I saw that, I just wanted the Tim Allen.
That would have been a timely joke.
I think so. It would have been very topical at the time. And then we find out she's doing this because Anton is her ex-fiance, and she wants to...
It's pronounced
to
fiance.
Ex-fiance. And he wants her... She wants to ruin his life. And so
they team up.
Yeah, unwillingly, because how are these two ever going to get along? Am I right?
Sometimes opposites don't attract for about 30 minutes.
This movie is just... it's so painful that you could feel every beat that's about to happen. There is no surprise in this movie because it all plays out like every other movie you've seen just like this.
Oh yeah, and I think like the last line Meg Ryan has in this scene before like it cuts to the next day, she's just like, I sleep naked. It's the only way I'm comfortable. But don't get any ideas. If you even so much as breathe in my direction, I'm gonna take your little wiener or willy, some
Willy.
name for dick, and I'm gonna nail it to that beam up there.
Yeah. So like I said, out you window. It's just there's no subtlety to any of this.
Well, yeah, but she basically says that what he is doing, gathering data and shit, is pathetic, yet she's like breaking into her ex's place and now teaming up with this guy to do it, so she's obviously just as pathetic.
Yeah, which is, I mean, maybe that's the movie's second attempt at irony, but I don't think it was. It wasn't played that way. And she has this line that's, once again, just trying to make it dark, but not really realizing that dark comedy has to be subversive in some way. It can't just be, I don't know, bodily humor. But she said the only way she's coming back to you is if a blast of semen catapults her through that window and into yours. Like, what?
That actually kind of made me laugh a little bit just because I imagined that happening. And I was like, oh my god, if they do that later as a callback, best movie ever.
That would have been a left turn.
There's a lot of jokes about that guy just having like fucking shotgun jizz or something.
Yeah, there's a lot of semen jokes in this movie. Like, that's where they tried to get their edginess from, is just a lot of semen jokes, it seems like.
Which is weird. Like, it tries to, mostly just with the tone of them spying on them and doing this creepy shit, it tries to have this dark tone, yet it still tries to play everything off with them falling in love and shit with just like the regular cutesy rom-com thing. But it's like, no, you're doing it with very dark and disturbed characters.
Yeah, it's a very confused movie. In this next scene, she set up the bug and she starts listening. He's like, I want to hear it. He's like, oh no, you don't want to hear this. He's like, no, I want to hear. I definitely want to hear it. And they like just telegraphing exactly what's about to happen. And so she's like, okay, she takes the earphones out and turns it up, and it's Anton and the girl obviously having sex. And Matthew Broderick's first response is, he's killing her! Like, are you fucking 5? Like, what is this?
She's like, oh yeah, he's killing her, and she's loving every minute of it.
Yeah, and then he's just like, but she likes to make love quietly with the lights off. Like,
she likes it soft and quiet and gentle. Oh, poor Matty Broderick.
It's just, which once again just goes to show that he should just leave her alone. That she was right to leave him. That they were not happy together anymore.
Which he gets so many moments of that throughout the film where it seems like, oh, he's finally going to realize that. But then it just kind of comes towards the end just for no reason.
Yeah.
He just offhandedly refers to Meg Ryan instead of Linda. And then that's like, oh, that means I love her.
We'll get to that.
It's just so bad.
And then there's this other scene where Anton makes her food, and that's where we're introduced to that he's a restaurateur in New York, a very famous one, or starting to get famous, I guess. I don't understand.
He's an up-and-comer.
Up-and-comer, and he's feeding her something, and he's like, I love watching you eat my food. She's like, oh my god, it's the best thing I've ever eaten. And he's like, she hates having people watch her eat. Like, what a weird thing to say.
I think it's more like he just really gave her the creeps on a regular basis. He would just like stare longingly at her while she was eating. She's like, dude, come on, I'm trying to eat. Turn your gaze away, please.
I'm sorry, I don't like it. It's like everything in this movie just points to she really didn't like Matthew Broderick. And he needs to get the fuck over
Yeah, he was just convenient because she was stuck in a small town and he was cute and had a decent job and probably was her best option in that small shitty town.
Well, no, or maybe they used to love each other, but she's outgrown it, and she feels like she's outgrown the town. And you know what? He should be respectful and say, you know what? We want to lead different lives. But no, he objectifies her and makes her into this thing that he must possess no matter what oddities he has to go through. But they don't highlight that this is happening in the movie. Like, they don't ever say Matthew Broderick or Meg Ryan or even imply that they're shitty people for doing this, and they are the shittiest of people for doing this.
Absolutely. Like, because even all the bad stuff that happens to Anton and everything, it's played for laughs. It's not funny, but it's played for laughs, and like, they're destroying this guy's life. And yeah, he might not be the greatest guy in the world, he might be kind of douchey, but he doesn't deserve to have his entire life torn apart.
No, you don't deport someone for cheating on you. Like, I mean, yeah, cheating on you, that's fucking bad. I mean, but you don't get someone deported over that, or ruin their restaurant, or a myriad of other shit they're trying to do to this man.
Break his fucking arms and ribs.
That was an accident.
Which was an accident.
I'll give that one an accident.
But it happened.
It did happen.
It wouldn't have happened if they weren't doing that shit.
Then there's this. I'm looking at my notes. I don't even understand where this is coming from. I'm like, one of them's the old dog anus story.
I have no idea what that is.
No, it's the it's
Meg
the
Ryan
part
talking
where
about
how her father pulled the maggots out of the dog's anus.
Yeah, because she's explaining to Matthew Broderick what love is.
Yeah, because they have to call back to Matthew Broderick's definition of love, which is
not feeling empty.
Not feeling empty is essentially his definition of love.
That is not love at all. That just means that you are a sad, lonely person that will take anything. It's
like their version of being in love means never having to say you're sorry, and just expecting people to buy it. Like, and people say, like, yeah, that's deep. Yeah. Being in love is not being hollow. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's filling the void inside of yourself with someone else. It's saying, I'm not happy with myself. I have a gaping hole in my soul. I'm just going to get this other person to be around me so I don't think of my loneliness as much.
Because that's love. True. That's love.
That's what I'm living every day, baby. So just plot-wise, to move along, they set up a thing where Meg Ryan steals Anton's credit card, and she kind of like has Broderick run interference and kind of take away his attention so she can steal it, so she can take all of his money and spend it on stupid shit to help ruin his life. Broderick gets a punches Anton in the face. That was good for him. Didn't think he had it in him.
Woo. I will say during the part you're talking about where they're spending money, it's done through montage. And the music they're playing during the montage implies that the people doing these things are at least 10 years younger than they are. Like, not Matthew Broderick and Meg Ryan's age.
It's that normal kind of... It kind of reminds me of, like, the love montage and, like, Chasing Amy or something. Like, it's a normal... These people are falling in love montage. But no, they're just stealing from this guy and spending money on ridiculous things.
Well, no, I mean, the montage is fine itself. There's this music playing in the background that's like this... I don't know, like, reggae hip-hop vibe, except, like, commercialized, like, not edgy at all. And it's just, like, at this point in my age, I would feel offended if someone used that music to montage my life. Like, come on,
and these
guys.
People are supposed to be, like, at least 10 years older than we are right now.
Yeah, it's this young hip factor that doesn't make sense with what we're viewing on the screen. Anyway, that was my note about the horrible music choices throughout this entire movie.
I don't know. So Meg Ryan and Matty Broderick, they bond over hot dogs and everything. I guess that's when she tells him the dog anus story. And then there's a monkey in the movie, which makes everything better, right?
Generally, not so much this time. This one is a lot weirder.
I briefly liked the movie because there was a monkey in it, and I always love a good monkey.
I liked it because it reminded me of Monkey Trouble, and I was wishing the movie would just turn into Monkey Trouble.
I think that's why I liked it.
Oh, Monkey Trouble. Why are we watching you? But yeah, so she gets this organ grinder to put lipstick on his monkey and send it after Anton, so it looks like he's cheating on what's her fuck? Matthew Broderick's girlfriend, Linda.
Who was Kelly Preston, by the way. The actress.
Oh, well then. What else happens?
I don't know. I will say one thing about this, even though I think it's silly the way they're trying to change the look of Meg Ryan by just like making her look a little dirtier, putting a leather jacket on her and like some dark eye makeup. Mm-hmm. But I have to admit, it kind of worked on me. I kind of thought she was hot in this movie.
No, I thought she was hotter than she usually is. She didn't look as plain, I guess. Yeah. I don't know.
But I guess, they tossed some makeup on her. She looked pretty good. There was a good amount of Ryan cleavage in this movie, which I appreciated quite a bit. I was like, wow, I didn't know she had all that going on down there.
Well, probably push-up bra, but
it worked.
Whatever. That's what they're going for. Edgy girls have cleavage.
That's true, because you usually don't see Meg Ryan cleavage in movies, do you?
No. Then, so Anton and Linda go out of town, and Broderick Ryan use this chance to get back in the apartment because he hasn't changed his keys, which is conveniently said over a shot of them opening the door instead of, explaining it in any way.
Yeah.
And they use this opportunity she hides panties in the couch.
Which, when she does this, she takes off the panties she's wearing because she wanted it to be, for real.
Authentic.
Yeah, she wanted it to be authentic. And she throws them to Broderick, and he catches them. And once she explains what he's supposed to do with it, he kind of leans down to put them into the couch. I totally thought he was going to sniff them for a second.
I know. I was like,
because he was already like sniffing all of her stuff in the apartment. I was like, he's going to give those a little sniff before he puts them away. Well, her back is turned, I bet.
Well, he was sniffing because there were rotten strawberries.
Oh, no. He was sniffing, like, Linda's clothes and shit that were in the apartment.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. But, yeah, I totally agree. I thought he was about to sniff the panties.
Yeah, because that goes along with his character so far.
It would. It would have made this actually go into dark comedy territory for a minute. We're like, oh, he is just really fucking creepy. But no. So they hide panties in the couch. She takes a bunch of the credit card receipts and hides them everywhere. It doesn't make any sense. Like, in the middle of books, like, under couch cushions. Like, I'm surprised she didn't throw a handful of them under the mattress. Like, why?
I was wondering, was she doing that to try to, like, make him think that she was spending money on his credit cards or something?
No, it was so that Linda would find them and think that he was spending money on another woman.
Oh.
That's why she bought all the flowers for Nana.
That makes way more sense.
Yeah, but it still doesn't. I guess that's her hedging her bets. Like, well, she'll have to look in one of these places eventually. If I just hide enough of this shit everywhere, it was so strange. Who does that?
Yeah.
And then there's this whole other scene of Ryan and Broderick kind of dressing up as each other's sexual partners, which once again would have made an interesting dichotomy to the whole rom-com thing and could have been an interesting plot point.
Yeah,
if
it could have gone dark, but it didn't.
Yeah.
It's played as like a fucking romantic comedy. Like, I have to admit though, I did enjoy Broderick's French impression when he's like talking like the French guy. Oh, I'm so beautiful, and I'm a model, and ooh. Like, I thought that was pretty funny, but I was just like, what the fuck is happening? Like, if they had tried to go dark with it, like they really embodied that because they hate these people, and then they ended up having sex with each other, really thinking that they're with the other person, that could have been a lot darker and better, but they just played it more as like a comedy to where, oh, they're actually connecting, they're just using that as an excuse.
Yeah, and I think they also try and play it as if they were drunk a little bit.
Yeah, well, Meg Ryan comes off a little drunk, but he doesn't really.
No, that's what I'm saying, is like they try, like, I feel like they almost wanted to put the drunk part in, then they decided to hold it back at the last minute. Like, no, we want this to be a real sexual moment between them.
Yeah, it works better as a drunk moment. Like, they went over there to do this. They were being drunk and silly. Broderick was sniffing everything like a fucking creeper. She was trying to plot things and knocking shit over everywhere, which I think they had to have been drunk because she kept knocking shit over. And then they drunkenly fucked in their ex's apartment.
Yeah, while dressing like each other's exes. And so, I mean, that could have, like I said, that could make an interesting movie where, and actually, In the Mood for Love it kind of takes this, and I'm not about to compare this to In the Mood for Love, but
I think In the Mood for Love just straight up stole this movie. They just stole the plot. It saw Addicted to Love, and he's like, no, I will make it. No one will know.
I can make this better. But it's the whole lovers taking on their other lovers' roles for each other. And that's a very interesting point to play. Like, these two people who are hurt by these two other people, but they're still the significant others of these other people, and so they kind of use each other for what they want from them to kind of understand.
But it's played more serious, isn't it? Instead of playing like a goofy comedy, which did not work for this film.
Yes, exactly. Like I said, I'm saying there's an interesting motif in that this movie completely forgets almost immediately. There were so many good ideas for a movie in this movie that it's baffling that they didn't use any of them. They just used the worst idea that could possibly come from this script and went with that.
Well, I kind of feel like the original script might have been a lot darker, or at least it should have been, and then maybe they just, as they went along, they were like, no, we need to make this more of a romantic comedy. We don't want to alienate the audience too much. We just got to put a little bit. We'll put some jizz humor. We'll make them a little creepy, but then we'll really make it about love. You know, make it for the people.
I'm wondering if that's just because they got Meg Ryan, and they're all of a sudden like, oh shit, we had to make a rom-com. We have fucking Meg Ryan. That's what she's good at.
Yeah, I guess you're right, because she hasn't really broken off and done that much different. The only really different role I can think of her in is that movie In the Cut, which is famous for being the first movie she got nude in. So I guess, to break off and do something different, she had to do this dark killer movie where she gets naked.
This movie sucked.
Yeah.
Just trying to go back over it, I am even more disinterested now.
Yeah, well, it's stupid. We find out that Meg Ryan is angry at Frenchie because he used her to get a visa and get into the country, and that's her backstory. Matthew Broderick, for some fucking reason, goes and tries to get a dishwashing job at Frenchie's restaurant.
Which he gets.
Yeah.
Because of a callback that doesn't even matter. But this is where Anton punches him because he remembers him punching him earlier because he was just in fucking sunglasses and a hat. Of course he's going to remember him.
Not only does he punch him, but then he threatens skull rape.
Yeah, he says, I will rip out your eyes and rape your skull. Which is, once again, this movie's attempt to be a black comedy, I'm guessing. Because it comes back a lot. And that's one of the funny moments where I chuckled at it when he goes back to Meg Ryan. he threatened to have sex with my skull. And she's like, oh, he does that to everybody.
It's a French thing, don't worry.
And he really does through the rest of the movie. Anytime he gets mad at someone, he threatens to rape their skull.
Yeah,
it's
this is a running gag in this movie.
Yeah, skull rape is the running gag of Addicted to Love. And, okay, then I forgot about this line. So they had this whole thing kind of playing off the monkey lipstick kiss, where she pays a bunch of kids to spray perfume on him, which is another weird thing. Why didn't any of the kids tell them, oh, this lady just gave me money to spray this on
Not only
you?
that, they like soaked him, and he kind of like, he was nice and he was playing with the kids like, oh, they're squirting me with water, but it was perfume. But if it must have been perfume mixed with water or something. No, because they sprayed him down. I was wondering, because otherwise wouldn't he just fucking reek?
No, that's and I was wondering that too, but no, because you just see her putting a couple of drops into every water gun.
Okay.
And so yeah, it's just mixing with the water, but he would still be soaked. I mean, I guess if he has a long rest of the day. But he goes back and he has this conversation with Linda. He's trying to convince her otherwise. And I love the line, why would why would I have sex with a hamburger when I can have sex with a steak? I'm like, I think you're mixing up your metaphors here.
Oh, I think it was actually, why have sex with a hamburger when I can make love to a steak?
Make love to a steak, yeah.
Which, that is, I have to admit, that's a good line. I'm gonna have to use that the next time someone thinks I'm cheating on them.
No, because the line is, why would I eat a hamburger when I could have a steak? Well, that would make sense, because, I mean, if you want to be practical about it...
I just thought this guy really loved food.
I'm just saying, you'd probably rather have sex with a hamburger, because it's already been, mashed up and stuff.
And not a steak. Literally.
If you're going to take it literally,
putting your dick in a steak is kind of tough. It's... I mean, what's it cooked to? Is it medium rare? Is it well done? Like, I need to know what I'm fucking here.
That's what I'm saying. The metaphor is, why would I eat a hamburger when I can have steak? Not... why would I have sex with a hamburger? It's like saying, why would I fuck a cow when I get the milk for free? It doesn't make sense.
Well, I guess he meant more like, he holds her in such high regard, anybody else he fucked would be like a hamburger. It'd be like fucking some ratchet pussy. But he's fucking her, which is a steak, and it's delicious.
Yeah, I get it. I'm just saying you're bringing... he didn't make a proper metaphor.
I have a feeling this guy fucked a cow at some point in time. Or at least it's the equivalent of that putting your dick in a pie scene in American Pie, except it was an American meat pie, and he was just going to town on it.
I bet he's actually just from Texas, and he's one of those kids from The Last Picture Show.
Oh.
They love fucking them girls.
Oh dear.
This brings up another weird thing that we forgot to mention earlier. This movie does the very silent movie classical move of irising in, where the screen will turn into a circle that just encloses, like on Meg Ryan and Broderick or something like that. It does this at least 3, maybe 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, it's fantastical in a way that makes you think it's like a Woody Allen romantic comedy from like the 80s or something.
It's like it's once again, it's just so tonally off with the rest of the movie that, because it's not like, because they are watching this film, they're watching these people as if through a film, but it's not called upon enough that the irising in makes sense as kind of this meta reference to the movie itself being a movie. Like, it's not like they keep calling in this movie aspect. It's just kind of this one background thing that's constantly there and never remarked upon, really. It's
more played as just like a cutesy romantic comedy thing that has no place in this movie, really.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's weird. I don't get it. Okay, then we get some roach humor,
which is always funny.
Yeah, a guy.
Have you seen Joe's Apartment? Always funny.
Yeah, which calls another weird thing that Matthew Broderick started his stint in the abandoned place collecting roaches, which is never explained, but conveniently it comes back for this one gag.
Which is weird. I guess he was actually keeping them. I thought he was just collecting them to get them out of the house. But no, I guess he was just keeping them all in a box.
Yeah, just feeds them every once in a while. Because he knew maybe I'll have to use a bag of roaches sometime.
He just put them in a box with a stick and a leaf to recreate what they're used to.
This is your habitat, right? And so he uses these roaches from his place as a dishwasher in Anton's restaurant to get Anton's restaurant shut down. Which is strange, because he does it at first to disgust a few food critics so it'll get a bad review, but instead he just gets the place condemned.
Yeah, which I totally thought he was just going for, like, just getting one on the plate of the food critic so the food critic would give him a bad review. But no, like, there's a fucking army of roaches running out there to where, like, yeah, you completely ruined this man's business now. You didn't just cut off his popularity in, like, one food magazine. You destroyed his dream.
Yeah, you have literally destroyed this man and his future.
And then they think it's so funny. They have, like, a 2 to 3 minute long montage of them at different places laughing hysterically about this. Because they're horrible, horrible people.
they are the worst kind of people.
And I was like, I'm glad they think it's funny, because I thought it was a bit overboard.
Yeah. And so then we get Nana, who has broken... This is... Okay, so she charges all these things on a credit card that she sends to Nana, which is so strange because it can easily be traced back. Yeah. So that's the first thing. Like, I guess Nana could be like, I don't know who sent them.
Well, that's how Nana found them.
Exactly. But then Nana gets there because she went to the flower shop they were sent from, and the lady had Meg Ryan's name and address. So
which means Meg Ryan gave her name and the address of the abandoned building across the street that they're hiding in.
It is the strangest thing. And once again, Nana is only there for this extreme plot contrivance that they go to get ice cream, which is the only thing they do. This woman makes a bus trip from God's knows where to eat ice cream and then immediately leave. But while they're eating ice cream...
But she also throws out some great lines. Like, I think the first thing she says to Meg Ryan is like, your tits look like little hard rocks. Oh, Nana.
Oh, that's our Nana.
Which Nana is just as creepy as they are, because she keeps, like, wanting to take a picture of them, and she's like, kiss, let me get a picture of you kissing, kiss them, you can do it better, kiss her better than that.
Come on, Sam, you can do it better.
Oh yeah, that's it. That's fucking it, keep doing it.
So yeah, that's the whole plot contrivance, is so that Nana can get pictures of them being a cute couple.
And so she can tell them, because she's an old lady and she doesn't know any better, she was listening to the radio in their house, which was the bug device they use, and she heard one of her stories about these two people that are having a fight about one of them having an affair, and then that's how they find out that the other two actually broke up.
Yep. That's it. And so they go back, and they're like, well, this is goodbye. Like,
well, before that, though, like, when they go to confirm it, I guess, that's when they're seeing through the window and Anton is there, like, waiting to hear back from Linda. And that's when I really fucking laughed, because Linda's dad comes back and he starts reading another Dear John Leather, and it just stops, and he's just like, screw this. And then he punches Anton and leaves. That was actually, that was the best joke in the whole movie. She called her father from bumsfuck nowhere just to come to New York to read her fiance a letter saying she was breaking up with him.
Which is, that belongs in, like, a slapstick movie. That is the strangest thing. This movie is so all over the place. I don't get it. Anyway, so she's finally like, well, we did it, Sam. You did it. Why don't you go back to your goddamn Linda? And not just like that, but pretty much. And Matthew Broderick... Very much in that tone. And Matthew Broderick sits there and is like, whoa, why is she acting this way all of a sudden? I don't get it. We just shared this moment at the ice cream shop. Like,
it's that standard, just like, well, before they can really fall in love and be together, they have to have some kind of a conflict, and they have to get mad at each other for all of 10 minutes, and then he has to come back and give some stupid romantic speech, and then they live happily ever after. Which is exactly what they do.
Yeah, that's exactly... But the conflict doesn't make any sense to begin with. Because it's him not understanding why she, like, come on, like, there's not, you have to understand this. Like, you've been just as goo-goo-eyed over her for the past 30 minutes. And, like, even when she says, like, don't you want her now after all of this, he's like, oh, of course I do. Like, he even has that moment of pause, like he's actually trying to act or something, and...
Oh, Matty Broderick, trying to act.
Always just trying. At least we got that out of him.
Yeah, I don't know. This was a whole year before the whole Godzilla debacle, so he still had a little bit of weight in this movie.
But it is 2 years before his amazing election return to form. Before he
was that 99?
Yeah, I think it's 99, maybe 2000.
No, I think it was 99. I think you're right.
Yeah.
But yeah, God, I forgot about that. He does give a stellar performance in that.
Oh, amazing. But not here. No semblance of it here. Okay, so then Anton and Sam become friends, and it's so, because they're trying to vilify Anton so much that you outright hate him, so it makes the things they're doing understandable and relatable. Like, oh, of course, because he's the incarnation of Hitler. He needs to go down.
He does have a really funny line when they're talking about it, and he's talking about how he did cheat on Linda, but it was just like for this woman that was giving his restaurant a loan, so of course he had to do it. It's not really cheating. And then he's just like, I only came a fraction of what I was capable of. I barely came at all. Which again is another joke, meaning like, this guy just shoots shotgun blasts out of his dick, apparently.
It is the weirdest characterization I've ever seen, because it's not like this character exists in rom-com. It kind of does in different forms, but he's just like a mishmash of all the guys you're supposed to hate, but then also a late movie redeeming arc.
It does, yeah, which is so weird because it does play him as the villain and as a bad guy, as an asshole for most of the movie, but even all throughout the movie and as it continues and especially as it goes along, it shows that like he really loves Linda. He really wants to, it kind of like completely does a 180 on that and makes him a good character, which makes you feel even worse about all the shit they've been doing to him the whole time.
Yeah, because you're just, I guess the movie didn't realize this at the time. You're like, wow, it's really shitty what they've been doing to this guy. Like, he seems like a confused man.
Yeah, it's like, these two people don't deserve to be happy.
That's...
Okay, there's a scene where, I guess that night, when Matthew Broderick is crashing on Anton's couch, Meg Ryan comes in with a handful of the moldy strawberries we saw at the very beginning of the movie, which I had a problem with this. For one, does that mean that she always has moldy strawberries on hand? Or are those supposed to be the same moldy strawberries that she brought with her when she first moved in? She has been there for weeks. Those strawberries would be completely rotten.
You would think, but at the same time, I'm not sure it's been weeks. It may have only been days. Because how long can Matthew Broderick survive there without any form of income?
That's part of the reason why he got the job as a dishwasher.
Oh, yeah. No, because he just got the job because, I don't know, I kind of want to have a conversation with...
Well, he at least worked there a few days, at least. And they had enough time to, actually set things up, to try to break into their apartment. They at least stayed overnight in the apartment. It's at least a week.
I'll give you a week. But it just, I don't understand how time works in this movie. I don't understand a lot of things, but yeah, the money problem thing never comes back up, and the dishwasher thing, that would have been an excuse, oh, we needed money, and he just happened to be hiring, and I could get closer to him. This will all work into our plan.
I thought
but
that's
not
what it
how
was
they
trying
play.
to posit.
No, because when she talked to him about why'd you do that, he's like, I don't know, I wanted to get close to him. I wanted to talk to him, because before, he was like God in my mind, but now
he's like a volcano
well, what is he
god.
Like now? Now he's like a volcano god or a sea god, one of the lesser gods.
That was actually kind of a funny line.
It was pretty good, except it makes this whole ending scene that much stranger.
Well, I will say there's a point where Cake is on the soundtrack, and I was like, thanks, 1997.
Yeah, that was solid. You did us a solid 1997.
Also, there is one scene, and I'm not sure where it is, so I'm just going to say it real quick. But there's a scene where I guess Matthew Broderick and maybe Linda are walking by Anton's restaurant, which is now closed. But they walk by, and there's a sign saying that it's about to become a Rico's Taco Emporium, which sounds like an awesome place.
It does. Yeah, there's this whole thing, why... Is Meg Ryan still living in the place across the street, I guess she hasn't completely gotten what she wanted out of this yet.
Yeah,
Like,
she's not satisfied.
yeah, and Broderick goes back and tells her, I love you, and she's all like, you don't, of course you don't love me, blah, blah, blah. And she gives him, this is after fucking Anton's broken all his bones because Matthew Broderick pushes him down a shaft.
Allegedly.
Well, no, not allegedly. He does push him.
But it was an accident.
It was an accident to get out of the way of a motorcycle that turns out to be an old Abe Vigoda looking guy.
Abe Vigoda don't fuck around.
Abe Vigoda don't fuck around. He's on a motorcycle. 3 feet my ass. And so the dude breaks all his arms. He's still shitty with
all of
strawberry.
his arms.
All of his
all
arms.
6 of them.
And so then Broderick goes back over to Meg Ryan. There's this whole joke through this whole part where the guy wants someone to scratch his nose.
Which again, like, why the fuck is that in there? Is that supposed to be comic relief? It's just sad. It just makes me feel even worse for this guy.
No, this poor fucking guy. And Meg Ryan is just like, you know why? There's this whole thing. Anyway, she has pictures, allegedly, of Matthew Broderick and Linda kissing because they met in a park and kissed.
Which she actually did take a picture of.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, she was there and she did take a picture of it, so that's why we also assume that.
Ah, gotcha. And so Matthew Broderick's like, oh, I'll just end this for you now. Goes back over, confronts Anton with this whole, you must have done something terrible to deserve all this. He's like, what? And as the audience, I was also like, what? What did he do to deserve all this? And it's just...
They get into a big fight. He reveals that he's Linda's ex, and then Frenchie comes and attacks him while he has big arm casts on and shit. So
weird attacking scene. And it gets down to him, Anton being at the end like, you can't choose who you love, Mike. And it's sweet enough, I mean, but it kind of vindicates Anton and all this. Like, well, he was kind of an asshole, but he didn't deserve to have his life ruined.
Yeah, no, he actually really loved Linda. Yeah, he did use Meg Ryan, and he felt horrible about that. He expected that he could force himself to love her, but he couldn't, so he left, which is understandable. It might not be a great thing to do to somebody, but it's forgivable.
Yeah, it is completely forgivable. And also,
compared to just completely destroying someone's life.
Which is not forgivable. And Anton even has this line where he's like, who the hell do you think you are to judge? I'm like, who does he think he is to judge with all this talk of gods earlier?
That's when he finally gets it. He's like, nobody. I get it. And so he goes and he confronts Linda and tells her everything. She kind of half-heartedly takes a couple of swings at him and ends up crying in his arms, I guess.
Before going back to Anton.
Yeah, before going back to Anton. And then, of course,
then Matthew Broderick gets on a plane, because I don't want to skip over this part. And on the plane, he watches an episode of Lassie. Not just Lassie happens to be on an airplane in 1997. Because why the fuck not, I guess.
Because that's what you show on an airplane.
Yeah, and then he goes back, flies back, I guess, gets to Meg Ryan, and they have this whole quirky rom-com moment where he's like, you know, I saw this episode of Lassie. And she's like, oh yeah? What happened? And like, they go through this fake Lassie episode where he's like, oh, but the boy tried to make Lassie believe that he hated him. So he said, go away, Lassie, I don't want you here. Like,
even both
what did
of
Lassie
them
do?
In the scene have the eyes and the delivery of like, we get it already.
Yeah, because what the... what does it mean? There was no Lassie talk earlier. It's like...
Well, it's like when I said, like, they're going to do the thing. They're going to have a little tiff between each other, a little bit of conflict. They're going to hate each other for all of 10 minutes. Then he's going to come back with some big romantic speech, and then they're going to live happily ever after. That's exactly what they did, but they based the big romantic speech on Lassie and about Lassie leaving a boy at a well.
But, see, that's the thing. Like, Jerry Maguire, I guess Sleepless in Seattle. It's been a while since I've seen it. But the big romantic speech at the end, is a callback to something that happened earlier in the movie. So there's
something
resonance.
that happened 5 minutes before that the other party was not a privy to.
Exactly.
I think that's what it was. I think that's why he was gonna leave. He's like, "Well, fuck, I don't have a big romantic speech. I guess I gotta leave. Like, she's never gonna take me out back without a big romantic speech." He gets on a plane. He's like, "Wait a second, Lassie."
That's the key to all of
Bitches
this.
love Lassie.
Bitches be loving Lassie. And yeah,
that's pretty much it.
Yeah. And then, for one more time, to inexplicably in this movie on something... Well, I love the last line of the whole Lassie thing. Like, did the boy make out with Lassie in the end? It's like, yeah. They just start kissing. And then there's... Once more, there's an iris in. And inexplicably, they both reach up to pull down, like, a final the end curtain.
Yeah,
like,
which not only that, but it goes even more fantastical right before that, because the way it goes through the camera obscura, like, through all the different lenses and shit, and then it, like, goes to a projection of them on the wall, and then they pull down the curtain. It's fucking weird and has no place in this movie. That's the ending of a fucking Tom Hanks, Meg Ryan movie or a Woody Allen romantic comedy, not a half-dark... like half light-hearted comedy with a ton of jizz jokes.
Yeah.
And people being horrible, like stalkery, obsessive people and ruining people's lives.
Yeah, this was horrible. Like, this is I almost enjoy it. To a certain extent.
I don't know why. Like, I really was angry when I first finished it, but going back and talking about it now, like, at least it's fucking different, and it tried to do something weird.
Except it just failed on all accounts. It's like this feels like one of those movies that was robbed from the director, except I don't think it was. I think the director was just as confused himself. Like, this is like watching, like, someone who's made a bunch of standard TV movies in his old age once he gets a little bit of dementia going, and then he decides to make a movie, and this is what comes out. It's just this weird mishmash of tropes and oddities.
This was just a stepping stone to his true masterpiece, Practical Magic. Which I think needs to be on the table now. I think we need to come back to Griffin Dune and see what he has for us again. So, that was Addicted to Love. Join us next week as we continue a trend of what the fuck were they going for and why should we even care movies with 1998's 6 Days, 7 Nights, a much broader, less humorous, yet more financially successful version of the film we just watched. Oh joy. On a brighter note, it does contain 100% more David Schwimmer, which is really all you can ask for from the movie. We'll see you next time, here at Crust Celluloid.